What is up, friend? Graham here. I wanted to do a quick video. You asked for this, a little bit of a show and tell on what I'm using for my podcast and the video podcast on YouTube every single week, because I run the podcast here in my office and it's also filmed at the same time, so it becomes a video and the audio. So I'm downtown in the space. There it is. And I want to show you what I'm using, and I'll show you even like how I'm getting it to sound the way it sounds and explain all my equipment. So simple setup. The microphone here is a Rode Podcaster. It's just a USB microphone, broadcast type microphone. They make a normal one that is a traditional microphone that plugs into an audio interface or a microphone preamp. This one is just a handy dandy USB mic. So I'm plugging it in to my MacBook Pro via a little dongle, because they got stupid Apple and got rid of USB ports, but you know what I'm saying. So it plugs right into the computer, no other gear necessary. And then I've got my notes here, but below that is GarageBand. I literally just record into the free program that comes on your Mac called GarageBand. I just record it to a track. On the track, I put a couple of plugins for you audio people. There's a great plugin from Waves called the NS1. It's a noise suppressor that gets rid of like all the background noise, air conditioning noise. It just kind of cleans up your voice a little bit. And then I'm using a little bit of EQ. So I'm using it to roll off some low end and bump up a little bit of the high, so it's a little brighter and crisper. And then I'm just using a compressor with some basic settings here. That's not really helpful to you unless you're an audio person, but it kind of controls the level a little bit of my voice, makes it a little more consistent. And then there's a cool master track here, this big blue thing, and that has, well, it's a couple of things. Sorry, the gray thing is the master track. I've got the brightness thing turned up here, adds a little bit more sizzle, and then I've got the limiter, which is this guy here. And that makes the overall level of the recording a lot louder while still sounding consistent and natural. It's just a little more broadcast ready. And then I've got my little background music here, a little intro music that I splice in. So I do it all here in GarageBand. Over here is my camera. This is just a Panasonic Lumix G7. And I'm just using the kit lens. I don't know what. Yeah, there you go. It's a variable lens, 14 to 42. And I bought an additional lens with this guy, but I just ended up using the kit lens. And here there's plenty of light, right? There's plenty of natural light, so I don't need a light setup. You can hear in my studio back home, I need to use ring lights and things like that. So what I do is I just literally, I get a session set up here, and I sit and I'm ready to go. Got everything here. I have my notes on the laptop. I stare at the camera and I talk to the camera all by myself. And I'm recording on the camera, and then I'm recording into GarageBand using the microphone here. And then my template inside of GarageBand is always the same, so I just render out the audio. I chop off the beginning and the ends. I sync up my audio, the background music, the intros and outros, but it just takes me like a couple of minutes, and I render out that audio file, and that gives me the actual audio file for the podcast. I use a program called Libsyn to distribute my podcast to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all those places. And then I take the video footage from the camera, drop it into Final Cut Pro. You could also use iMovie, which comes free with your Mac. And all I do there is do a little bit of color correction. I add in like overlays, like text and stuff, the little intro video. And I just drag in the audio from GarageBand and sync it up and replace the crappy audio from the built-in mic on the camera. And that's how I get the video to have the exact same audio as the podcast. And so it looks and sounds good. And then that's just a normal video that you upload to YouTube. So it's a pretty simple setup. It works great. It's efficient, allows me to film it and get it up in the podcast world so you can consume it either way. If you have any questions specifically that I didn't mention on the equipment or on the way I'm using it, drop a comment below. And if you're interested in how a podcast or even YouTube videos can actually help your business, because look, everyone's got a podcast, right? Everyone's got a YouTube channel. Like your mom probably has a podcast, but does she have a business? So having a YouTube channel or having a podcast doesn't mean you have a business. There's a reason why I create content. There's a strategy to using this content to generate income. And it's not ads. I'm not using sponsorship or ads, right? So if you're more interested in how to use content like a podcast or a YouTube channel to drive an online business, then check out my workshop. It's a passive income workshop. It's about 45 minutes. Put the link below here, and you can just watch the entire model unfold before your eyes and see literally how what I do here drives a business and puts money in my pocket. And I want you to see it. I want you to take notes, and I want you to build your business, even if it looks a little bit different. These are the fundamentals. It's all free. Just go to grahamcochrane.com/workshop, but I've got the link below if you want to check it out. And of course, leave me questions about the setup or anything I didn't mention. I want to help you out. And other than that, have a great day.